I have never come close to marriage, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hi Tinx, welcome to
Hi.
One Nightstand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, we're thrilled to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about, have you always been a big reader?
I have, yes. My parents both loved to read, and I loved to read growing up. It was just an escape, and then I was an English major in college, and then I have my master's in journalism, so I've always loved reading and writing. Yeah, absolutely, it's a big part of my life.
What kind of books did you like reading when you were young?
I loved the American Girl books when I was really young, which I think I was growing up in London, so I think it was, on the part of my parents trying to get me to know a little bit about American history, and every little girl loves those books. They're so good, and if you're good, you get the matching doll, of course. So I love those. That's like my earliest memory of really loving reading.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's Mallory Towers. Did you ever read those?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved those. That was like, makes me think I wanted to go to boarding school in Cornwall.
Of course. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was in Birmingham. One of the first books that you've chosen 4 great books for us to talk about, and then we also have your own book. Let's start with The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Tell me what you love about that book.
When I think about my college experience and taking classes at Stanford, I think about Sun Also Rises. And I think it's just like one of those classic books where if you have a really great professor, you can really, really get into it. And I love Brett Ashley as a character. And there's this line in the book she had curves like the hull of a racing yacht.
Yes.
And I just I don't know why I committed that to memory, but I always think wow, I hope some guy one time describes me that way.
Yeah.
And I think I just love the character Brett, and I love all the drinking in Hemingway books.
I felt like I was hungover after reading it. I was like, ugh.
Totally. And I just, it really represents my college time and my life in college. And I just think of it very fondly. I think sometimes when you're reading a book, you really attach the memory to it of where you're at. And it was just one of those I'm an English major in college moments. And Brett is obviously so cool. And it's a great read.
I totally agree. Mine's doing AS by Possession at A-level.
Oh yeah.
And that was like the book where I was just like, oh, I fucking love it.
Yeah, you're like, I love all this secret meaning stuff. Like I love that we can chew on a chapter for an hour in class, and we can keep finding new things. Like if you're an English major, you like to do that. You like to overthink things and read into context and subtext and all of that. So I think, it's great. And this guy, he and I were like English buddy friends, and this is very bad, and I don't condone stealing, but he stole this copy of Sun Also Rises for me, and he gave it to me because he knew how much it meant to me. So
stole it from where?
The library.
Oh,
that's bad, guys. It's bad. I didn't condone it, but he brought me a gift, so I did keep it. Yeah.
I stole one book from my college library when I left.
He knew how much I loved it. I think it's okay.
They billed it back to me. Did they bill it back to you?
They didn't. They probably billed him, but it was a very expensive school experience anyway, so I feel like they're probably okay with it.
They're fine. Yeah,
they can buy another one.
Literally. Did you always want to be an English major?
Honestly, yes. My dad was an English major, and he always used to say, if you can read and you can clearly express yourself through the written word, you can do any job. Yeah. And I think it's so funny because it's the opposite messaging that most people get about English majors, where it's there's that Avenue Q song, what will you do with an English degree? And so I did, yeah. It sounded also easier than anything else. So, I mean, the thought of doing anything left brain sided was out of the question for me. So
that's fun. And did you ever think about going to college in the UK, or were you determined to go to America?
Well, as you know, in college in the UK, you pick one subject. I think a lot of people don't know that. You have to pick basically when you're 17.
Totally.
One subject that you're going to study.
Almost when you do your A-levels.
Right. You have
to narrow down.
And to commit that early,
it's hard.
As a commitment phobe, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I also wanted to experience that side of who I am. My parents are American. I was raised in London until I was 19, but I really wanted to go live in the States.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. I think that the liberal arts education is, at its best, absolutely phenomenal gift that someone can have.
Yeah, it seems much more discovery based than and sort of exploratory than it is in the UK, where you do have to go narrow quite early.
Yeah, exactly.
It's frustrating. We had Sharon Horgan on this on One Nightstand in December, and this was one of her favorite books too. And she told us that she had been trying to adapt this book, but they just couldn't get it off the ground, which I thought was interesting. But how do you feel about adaptations of favorite books?
I'm all for it. I
Right.
think when done well, it can be amazing. I think I'm trying to think of what the best adaptation is. I don't know. I think you can also view them separately, and you can
Totally.
enjoy the book, and then the movie is a separate thing. But I think about like Persuasion was a good adaptation. I think.
Yeah. Everyone loves the Pride and Prejudice from 2005.
Totally. Yeah. I think there are some good ones. So I'm all for them.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
Who do you think would be good to play Lady Brett Ashley?
Who do I imagine? Like Dakota Johnson, maybe.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And she has that like just magnetic air
She does.
about her where like everybody falls in love with her.
Totally.
I actually think she would be great.
I interviewed her for a Bustle cover story last year, and I loved her. She's amazing. And she's
amazing.
a big reader. And her book club's amazing.
Yeah. I think she could be great.
They pick really cool books. So have you read a lot of Hemingway beyond this one?
No, I'm trying to think what else I've read. I mean, I'm sure I did in college, but this is the one that stands out to me.
This was the one that stood out.
Yeah.
Well, your next book that I thought we could talk about, which I love, is The Vanity Fair Diaries by Tina Brown.
Yes.
Tell me what you love about this book.
This book has had more of an impact on me than maybe any other book.
Wow.
I love Tina Brown.
Yeah,
I think she has the most insane command of the written word of anyone I've ever experienced. I mean, I subscribe to her Substack now, and it's like getting hit in the face with like a bucket of cold water in the best way. I think she's the most phenomenal writer. And when I was younger, I was really obsessed with magazines, and I thought I wanted to be a magazine editor. And so when I was reading this book, it was a combination of this incredible writing, this juicy gossip from a time period that I am fascinated by, and the behind the scenes on what it means to make a great magazine. And I think I read it in probably like 2017, 2018. So already there was this conversation happening in terms of what's going to happen to print, what is going on, as digital gets bigger and bigger. So I think I read it at a really poignant moment. But it's just a time capsule from a different era, and I really feel like I'm there when I always reread it. Like I love it, and she's just fantastic. I love all of her books. I love the Diaries, or she's amazing.
She doesn't mince words ever.
She doesn't mince words. I remember like ages ago she said Trump is a caricature of himself. And I thought, wow, like what an insane, perfectly apt way to explain someone. She has this incredible command of the English language, and it's just very cool.
It is.
Yeah.
One of the things I felt when I read that book, I just felt so envious of her relationship with her husband.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
because
that's a really good point.
He's such an incredible, and she's very like, he's such an incredible support for her in so many ways, like both personally and professionally. And I think they got together in her early 20s, I think. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm so jealous of being able to like go through all the challenges of like getting your first big job, and the kind of like, because she's pretty frank about the times where she thought maybe she was going to be fired or it wasn't going to work out or whatever, and having that person always in your corner.
She has an incredible support system, and I really like how the book demonstrates how women in power can have, I think it really represents like the duality of women. She's so strong and powerful in her job, but she's also a sensitive, soft person who has a family and who has this like beautiful marriage, and she leans on him when, times are tough or she's stressed. And she's very candid about that too, saying like, I had a really bad day and I came home and we did this. And, when she has kids, that experience too, she just speaks so candidly about her experience in life, and that I think is why I was so moved by it, and why I love it so much.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and it's just, you can like smell the money on the page.
And I mean, like I love Vanity Fair, and like those iconic covers, you can go back and look at them, and the way that so much thought used to go into a cover and a story and a risk. And you know what? I love social media. It's great now, but now we put up a million things a day, and everything has gone so fast. And they were really making something more akin to art back then.
The attention to detail, the way she talks about them, like sitting around brainstorming captions for hours, and like with digital, we're like I worked at Vanity Fair in London for the first 6-7 years of my career, and it was amazing. And I had it was like the 2010s, so it was like not
Was it Graydon Carter?
Yeah, when Graydon was still there. We were like the satellite office out of the UK, so Henry Porter was the London editor, and it was amazing because everything that was handled with such care in a way that with digital it is different. I mean, I actually think we're sort of heading back in that direction. I think we're heading back towards more curation and more sort of like distinct points of view and less slop.
I agree. I think that the winners in digital are the magazines and the accounts that are taking more time.
Right.
Like I mean, I really think what Lauren is doing with the magazine is amazing. Like there's a point of view, and I think that there was definitely a scary period where everyone was like, let's just put out as much as possible.
Exactly.
And now everyone's like pulling it back and going, no, let's make this cover story. Let's have a point of view. Let's say something. Let's pull these like unknown people and talk about them and I think that's great, and I think that people appreciate it. And I mean, you also see that with Substack, right? Like there's a desire for good work again, and I'm so pleased to see that. It's really encouraging.
It is really encouraging. Have you ever met Tina?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to get her on my podcast. We keep like circling around each other. And I'm sure I will. I'll fangirl so hard when I do.
Yeah, I did when the first time I met her, I was speechless. She's incredible. I mean, the skill is just out of this world, really. Are you still a big reader of print? Do you like reading in like paper and everything?
I do love an audiobook now. I'm on the go quite a bit, and I'm on planes a lot, and so I really do love an audiobook I mean, you can literally like smash a book in a week if you do an audiobook, because I put it on when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm making breakfast, on my walk to coffee, and then all of a sudden you've consumed one.
Totally.
I don't think there will be any substitute for me personally when I actually get time to sit down and read a book on the page, because I feel that your imagination is more locked in then. But we're all busy, and I'm no snob when it comes to what format you read. I don't think it matters at all. I think as long as you're consuming thoughtfully, then that's great.
I listen to memoir, but I can't listen to fiction. I don't know
completely
why.
Understand that.
It's weird, isn't it? Like there's something about, maybe it's how it's written, but it doesn't.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that.
So your third book is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. Tell me about why you love that book.
It's so fun. And it's so funny because when I I recommended it to my community on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, this is so uplifting and warm, and they were like, what do you mean? Like it deals with suicide and then whatever. And I was like, oh, I had a different outlook on it completely.
I think it's uplifting.
I thought it was like the most life affirming, beautiful. Like I cried many times. I thought it was a stunning display of like human resilience. Like I love stories about the female journey. Yeah. And I think it was so that, and it was just beautifully written and really funny too. That's a book I would love to see get adapted. I think I saw that the rights got bought.
I'm sure it will get adapted.
But that I loved it.
Yeah, it is really fun. I mean, it really feels to me like a book about female friendship and the strange ways in which it comes, and that dynamic between the old friends who are the bridesmaids and the bride, where they sort of like are most happy when they're talking nostalgically, and like they actually struggle to slot into each other's lives right now. I think is very real. So real.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the White Lotus theme right now going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the ultimate like kind of, the girls you met in the loo vibe, like spun out into a story, and I was obsessed. I really like it came, I was kind of down in the dumps. I remember when I was reading it, I was, going through sometimes you get the blues. Yeah. And I read it and I was like, oh, life is good.
Yeah.
And there's so much good. And sometimes you need like random strangers to remind you of that.
And the kind of humor of it around like the suicidal discussions and everything feels quite British almost. Like
I totally agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's sort of like that kind of like, oh, gonna kill myself.
Yeah, 100%. And I wonder if that's why I felt more comfortable. Like, I felt more comfortable or whatever. I mean, it was dealt with in a very British, dry way, and the humor is very British in it. And I think that's maybe why some of my American followers were a little taken aback because it's not American in tone. So I should be cognizant of that when I'm recommending stuff.
Well, spoiler alert, the character in the book comes close to marrying like the wrong guy, which I think is sort of interesting. Do you feel like you've ever come close to like
I have never come close to marriage. I'm not going to lie to you. But I've definitely come close to like, I've definitely had the wrong relationship for sure. I think, you know, something that I am really interested in and a theme that I explore in my book too is like losing yourself in a relationship and how dangerous that is, particularly for women.
Yeah.
I think it's so, you know, historically, women have been encouraged to lose themselves in the home and in their relationships. And it's left many feeling empty and lonely, especially in like middle to later life. And that's something that I'm super cognizant of in my own life and a theme that I love to read about. So I think that's also why I like it. You know, how you, like the trap of just kind of fading away when you're in a relationship.
Totally. And the grief of like, there's so many different types of grief in that book about the, you know, the main character who loses her father, but also the sort of like grief of a marriage ending and all of these, and like constantly trying to reconcile those things and like bump along with like work and everything. And
grief is so, it's so hard to write about grief because it's so different for everybody. But I thought that the way that it was dealt with in this book was amazing because as you said, it kind of comes in waves and it's like you have to keep going. Someone once said, the grief is kind of like, it's like a lump of butter that's being folded into dough. And you know, at the start, it's this clunky thing that you can't work in. And then over time, it gets worked in and you still see lumps and they show up from time to time, but it just gets worked into the dough more and more evenly. And I thought that was such a beautiful description of what it feels like to grieve.
Yeah, I think that's a really beautiful description. I thought one of the things that struck out to me when I was reading it, and I didn't know if again this was like the Brit in me, but there's a lot of like girlfriend nakedness. Are you that type?
I'm
like
a naked person.
You are.
Yeah. And I did not grow up in a naked household. I grew up in like a very like buttoned up conservative, like, you know, don't just talk about that, like type of vibe. So I don't know why. I mean, I also went to an all girls school though. I think that definitely pushes you over into being like, we're all got the same bits. Doesn't matter.
I love it. And it feels like, I thought the compressed timeline is good, and I feel like you've obviously used a similar kind of framework in your book of like a summer. With this book, it's a wedding weekend. But
I like that. Yeah, right? I think I like a condensed timeline. It feels I think it feels a bit more like pungent in a way or something.
Definitely.
Like it's just packed in, and I love that kind of style.
Are you a Rhode Island girly? Do you like?
Have I been to Rhode Island? I think I went for a wedding once.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
And it was very that vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. It's very that New England kind of coastal. It was very similar to what I imagined in my head when I was reading it.
Are you a big wedding person, a big wedding fan? Or?
I go to a lot of weddings.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I don't know if I would say I'm a fan.
Yeah, I know.
I also, you know, on my radio show, girls call in a lot about wedding drama.
Oh my gosh.
And I think when you hear day in, day out about all the drama that it causes.
Exactly.
I've also been a bridesmaid, I can't remember if it's 11 or 13 times, so just putting that statistic out there. You've
done your time in the trenches.
I've done a lot of bridesmaiding.
Wow.
Yeah, honored, but.
A lot of hen parties as well, or bachelorette parties rather.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how's that?
I always want women to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I want also women to know why they're choosing their choices. And I think that that's something I always try to speak about on my platform is know why you're choosing your choice. Yeah. Are you having a huge wedding because you want to spend all that money, or are you having that huge wedding because you feel like you need to perform your love?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying either one is right. I think that there's a million reasons why people have weddings. I just want women to know why they're choosing their choices.
Yeah, that's very perceptive, because I think you're right a lot of the time. And a lot of time it's like family pressure and
of
other
course,
types of
there's
pressure.
a ton of pressure from families sometimes. And, you know, actually a girl called my show yesterday and she was saying, I spent $20K on my wedding. And she goes, and just to all the girls out there, I think about all the time, like how I could have used that for a house. She was like, I loved my day. I had a great day. But she's like, me and my husband say all the time, could have put that towards the house.
That's the thing I hear a lot as well, is like that could have been our new kitchen.
Yeah.
Or like whatever it is. It's so much money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And I do feel like a portion of the pressure that comes from weddings from it's just straight consumerism.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I fall prey to consumerism all the time.
Yeah.
But I just, again, I want women to know why they're choosing their choices. Like if a fancy card invitation like isn't important to you, then send an email send a paperless post. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. I agree, and I can't get over how long they go in American compared to England as well. But like, how many days?
Yeah, because in the UK, like usually a hen is a night.
Yeah.
Here it's like a 4-day trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the wedding is like a whole weekend as well.
Yeah. Have you had to do many British hen dos or?
No, I've never done a British one.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're feral.
Yeah. I feel like they would be, I would probably like it.
Yeah, it is quite fun.
Yeah.
When it's a one night thing, that's what makes it so fun, because you're like, one night only.
Totally. And it's like really, it's like leave it on the floor.
Totally.
Everyone, you know, with a 4-day trip with a group of people you might not know is sometimes, you know.
Yeah. So was this one, because I sort of feel like there's parallels between this book and your book. Is this one of the types of books that when you were thinking about what you wanted to write, or not really?
I mean, I wanted it to be easy to read.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted it to be like you sit down and, you know, when you like read the first page and you're like, either this is going to be really easy to get into or not. I wanted every single person to be like, oh, this is going to be really easy to read.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with saying that. It's a beach read. It's a poolside read. I want everyone to be horny by the pool. I wanted it to feel super like rich in terms of set. I really wanted people to feel like they were in the Hamptons, and I wanted them to just like have fun with it.
Yeah. It's tell me about like so your book Hotter in the Hamptons, and tell me about the sort of like how you came up with the idea and everything.
So there was a lot of inspiration for it. I did read like a year and a half ago an article about how romance books are the only category of books that's growing right now, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Then I started reading a lot of romance, and I was like, I love how this makes me feel. It's so fun. It's so cheeky. It feels like a little secret. Without giving too much away about what happens in my book, I didn't always connect to the protagonists in romance novels because there's always this like neat ending. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking about that. I love talking about sex on my show, like I always have. And I had a couple AMA questions and from my community that kind of sparked something in my head where I was like, I think this story is like dropping in about an influencer. Obviously I'm an influencer. I know a lot about that world. And it just kind of came to me.
Yeah. And did you have to do a lot of research, or is it?
I mean, I luckily have a lot of experience in influencing and being canceled. And so, and I've spent many summers in the Hamptons at this point. So yeah, it was great.
I love the bit in the, I think it's in the first few chapters where you're like, Gen Z can't get me here or something. I was like, that really made me.
Maybe speaking from a past wound. I mean, I can't really say.
It really made me laugh though. It was funny. And the book is very spicy.
It's very spicy.
It's very, very spicy. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I love reading smut. Like I like to read very spicy books, and I like to also listen to audio porn as well. There's an amazing app called Quinn. It's female founded. That's really, really doing great work. And so I wanted it to be 5 flames emojis in terms of spice.
Yeah. And do you read a lot of like erotic type of fiction then yourself?
Yeah, I do. Like I love it. I think, you know, you can't read like 4 in a row. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I like to dip in, dip out. Like it, again, like I said, it makes it feel like it's a nice little secret.
Totally.
Like, it's just like a fun thing and your imagination can run wild.
Yeah.
And I really want to inspire people's imaginations with this book. Yeah.
Are you a Jilly Cooper fan?
I have read Jilly Cooper in the past, but I am very inspired by like the vastness of her body of work.
Incredible, right?
Incredible.
And is that so? Is this like the first of many in an ideal
I
world
hope
for
so.
you?
Yeah, I have this pipe dream of like exploring a different fantasy in a different rich mom place.
Ooh.
So that's kind of my plan right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can go on to your 4th book now, which is A Little Life. Which tell me what you think first and why you love this book.
Okay, I love to cry.
Okay.
And I love to feel like extreme emotions.
Yeah.
And well, I'm a very emotional person. And so I think whenever I can take the emotion out of myself and put it into like watching a movie or reading a book or even listening to music, like it feels it feels like a relief. It feels like I'm letting air out of the tires. And A Little Life is so emotionally draining that you literally cannot think about yourself while you're reading it.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. Like, it is so gripping. It is so sad that you actually can't have a thought about yourself the entire time. And I remember where I was when I finished it. And I cried for 3 hours. Like, I was so sad and I was so moved. I just was crying on my couch in San Francisco. And it's just like, yeah, it packs a punch. Like, it's a wallop of a book, and it's beautifully written, and it's just like what you need to read if you need to feel something.
Interesting. So I felt very angry by the end with reading it.
Totally.
Like, I mean, it was very propulsive and I couldn't put it down, but I felt like a bit like, not betrayed, but I felt like it was a bit, it was cruel, honestly.
Some people think that about it.
Yeah.
I've recommended it to my community several times, and I think sometimes the feedback I get is like, it's almost like, what do you call it? Like, violence porn, or I don't know,
trauma plot.
Yes, like, it's like too indulgent in that sense, where it's like you are just dragged through it. Some people think it's too much, but like I said, I like to feel the extremeness of it.
I felt like it was the like pulling me out into these like elegant New York settings, and then suddenly you're like back in Jude's past. And I was like, are you? And I was actually borderline mad with the friends that recommended it to me. I was a bit
it's intense. It's like if you want to cry, like it's if you want to really, but it's just like beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I always thought, when I first read it, I was like, Alexander Skarsgård would be so good in an adaptation.
Oh, playing who?
I don't know, the Willem. Yeah. But that was back in the day. I don't know now.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I always think about who I would cast. They just announced like the Beatles cast, and I feel like there's some guys in there who would fit into the roles. Well, there was like, I think there was a play of it.
There was in London. With James Norton.
See it. Yeah. Did you see it?
No.
I would be interested to see. Yeah, I get that. I so get that. Yeah, it's definitely intense, but I loved it.
It would be interesting to see if they do adapt it. What did you think of the Beatles casting?
I grew up off of Abbey Road, but I didn't grow up like a huge Beatles fan. Ironically enough, like, it was always just a part of history that was near where I lived. But I love all those actors. I think that they could do a good job.
I'm really interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be good.
They're all like credible, and
they're all serious actors.
Yes.
They're not like goofy like movie stars.
No.
So
I wondered if they would try and put Harry Styles in it.
Oh. I don't know about his acting skills.
I know.
I think he should stick to being a rock star.
And he's a very, very good rock star.
He's a very good one.
Yeah, he really is.
Like, why does every rock star want to be a movie star, and then all the movie stars end up wanting to be singers? Yeah. It's really confusing. I'm like,
I want us to stay in their lane. Stay in their lane. So with A Little Life, as we said, it's pretty divisive. Like, did you ever have any feelings when you were working on your book about fears about something being divisive, or, you know, you mentioned the experience of being cancelled or whatever? Like, how do you worry about that anymore? Or are you just like, oh, it is what it is, my fans are going to be?
No, I worry about it. Like, I'm a sensitive person.
Yeah.
But if you want to create things, there will always be someone who doesn't like it and someone who has an issue with it. And, you know, it's always scary to put something out into the world, but it's what I enjoy doing, so I have to just do it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And in A Little Life, the characters have pretty like fluid sexuality, and that's obviously a massive theme of your book too. Why did you sort of want to focus on that with Hotter in the Hamptons?
I think that was just Lola's journey. Like, I think Lola, that was the character that came to my head.
Yeah.
I like write these rich mom characters when I wake up, and like there are hundreds of them on my Instagram. And it kind of started like that. I was like, oh, what if there was like an influencer girl and she got canceled for this, but then like we explore this fantasy through her.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, I think most women who follow me are like straight. So I wanted to tap into that fantasy that a lot of women have.
Yeah.
In a way that felt like fun and approachable.
Yeah. Do you hear that a lot from your readers, then, that is a fantasy that a lot of people...
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a big part of my inspiration, is that I would always get like comments that said, do you think it's normal if I watch like Girl on Girl? And sometimes I think about like kissing a girl when I'm with my boyfriend, and I'm like, yeah, like everybody does. It's so normal.
Interesting. And how do you think about the sort of, was there any part of you that was like nervous about, because, you know, we're sort of in this, I think there's something quite interesting about your book that sort of like, Lola almost like rejects identity politics in a way, right? She's sort of like, no, I'm not going to be like sort of categorized in a certain way, or I'm gonna forge my own path, and I'm gonna forge a path based on my experience. And I feel like we, as a society, maybe aren't great at like letting people do that.
No, we're not. I think we need to be better at that. Like, I think, it was important for me to have a protagonist who was kind of real in that way. Like I mean, not that labeling yourself is not real, but I mean, I think like people are complicated and feelings are complicated and exploration is complicated, and it's okay to not want to put a label on yourself or something. Because you just don't know yet. And that's okay. Like, life is a very uncertain thing. And I think we as humans really try to conceptualize everything and really organize everything. And sometimes you're just not ready to do that.
No, totally. And I think it sort of sensitively gets at the different ways, like the people that get caught up in it, like Ali's character, you know, she's sort of like, she has her own needs and her own sort of like, you know, wants and desires and everything. And it's difficult.
It's, of course.
Tell me about like your creative process. Like, what does your like work day look like when you're working on something like the book?
I honestly, no 2 days are the same. But I like to block it all out and then fill it in, which is a very Virgo way of doing things.
So do you like you map out the whole plot and then start to fill it out?
Yeah, and then fill it out, because I feel like otherwise I would get so lost just in the details. The level of like detail in terms of clothing and place was really important to me. Like, I made a list of all of the things that I wanted to include, which was also like a fun game. I was like, I want to mention these brands. And at the beginning I did that exercise where it's like, what's Lola's favorite car? Like, what would she think about this? Like, I really went deep on that, and it really helped me. Because anytime I did feel like, oh, where is the scene going? I'm like, well, what would she think? What would she think? And that was, you know, really helpful.
That's interesting. And did you ever, when you were working on it, get to a point where you're like, oh, actually, this isn't going to work. I need to do it a different way?
I mean, like, every day I would be like, I had actually written a proposal for a different nonfiction book. And then I, like a little over a year ago, I got all the, you know, inspiration that I mentioned to you. I was like, I want to write like a new type of spicy novel, a new type of, I saw this vision for this series, and I called my agents and I was like, we're scrapping that. Like, we canceled the meetings. Like, I need to do this. And so it was very fast at the beginning, which is kind of like how I am as a person. But then I did have a lot of anxiety, being like, oh my God, like, what am I doing for the whole time? And now I'm just like keen for it to get out there and for people to experience it.
Totally. And you've already got an adaptation. Sort of.
I'm so
tell
thrilled.
Me all about
I'm
that.
so thrilled. I mean, I couldn't think of better producers, better shepherds for this project. Obviously, the Foster sisters made Nobody Wants This, which was like the smash hit rom-com. And I was just like, even before they were interested in my book, I think just they had this hunch that people wanted rom-coms and like really well made, like witty writing. And they did it, and they proved that. And I think that was just so cool and inspiring to me. And I mean, I couldn't be more excited to work with them.
Okay, let's talk through dream castings.
I have my dream casting, but I don't want to jinx it.
Okay.
I really do. Like, I have it in my head. I have it in a note in my phone.
Ooh.
And so I'm just now manifesting and praying. Yeah.
Good for you. And do you see it as a movie or as a TV series?
TV series, yeah.
Interesting. I think it's going to scratch that itch also. I feel like millennials are coming back out punching against Gen Z.
I really do too. There's a millennial science right now. I've seen a couple of videos being like, okay, well, maybe they aren't that bad. And I'm like, no, we're literally the best. Like, we do everything so well. We remade everything. We remade suitcases and workout clothes and toothpaste, and we made it all go. I'm sorry, but I just haven't seen that many Gen Z companies pop up. No offense.
I don't think
sorry.
I don't think you're wrong.
I'm sorry.
I love the one where it was like there's only one generation that knows how to like edit a PDF, and they are millennials. Like, because that's sort of like digital literacy that like Gen Z doesn't have in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if you want something done, like, give it to a millennial. We're so at the ready. We're so enthusiastic.
Eager, ready to be exploited.
We're ready to spend our money and be loyal and just like be nice about it. And I love our generation. I was like pandering to Gen Z for a little bit, but I'm over them, honestly. I'm proud to be a millennial.
Me too. I feel proud to be a millennial as well. I'm just like, well, I'm not one, so onwards. And
like, if you think I'm cringe, go for it.
That's a funny thing though, isn't it? Like, I was talking to one of my former colleagues earlier this week, and she was talking about aging in media and how she was like, it happens faster than you think. And she was like, I'm very glad that my career and my sort of like skills have been developed based on not on my currency of being like a hot young thing in a way that like, because I think that feels quite scary to me, these sort of, because the idea that you can expire, whereas like I quite like that millennials are just being like, we're not expiring.
No, we didn't even get hot until we were 30. We looked really, we like pretty rough until we were 30, and then everybody kind of was like, oh, like we can look good, and we've been aging like in a normal way. And now we're all like in a very good spot, and we remember the good times, so we're very creative, like before the depression of social media. And I think we're a very powerful generation. I think despite being born at like probably the worst time ever, like and experiencing mass chaos on a global scale multiple times, I think that we're very resilient and enthusiastic, and I like our commitment to fun. And I love being a millennial.
I agree. And it's nice to just like age out of a category and be like, you know what? No, I'm not that. But what I am is great.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that is a great note to finish on. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much for
Tinx.
having me.
This was such a joy.
Thank you.